Today I'm going to show you the heat exchanger. Now this furnace looks horrible. I clean out everything. There's no blower motor, no blower housing, there's no gas valve, there's no inducer, pressure switch, burners, everything is gone. You can see the other parts I worked on, uh, you know, all the details before, I got to this stage, which is basically the heat exchanger. Now heat exchanger is replaceable. I tell you a dirty secret. Furnace, usually you never have to replace it. Honestly, this furnace, if I want to, I never have to replace it. Even no matter what goes bad in it, it's replaceable. Even the heat exchanger, I'll show you how to take it out. But the idea is that the reason why most technicians will not replace it because of the headache. So if I go to Lennox now and I tell them, hey, I need a heat exchanger, they give me a free one. It's not always one piece. It comes with certain attachment and pan or covers, or like this condensation collector, this another cover, like Carrier. They give you like almost like everything is like the chambers of the heat exchanger. They come separate. You have to put them together, and a lot of technician is not like they don't want to do it. It's You're not gonna do that. You're not gonna know what you need till you start digging into it. That's why a lot of. But if you have a friend like your cousin or your friend who hey, tell him, hey, let's replace the heat exchanger. They can if they want. Like if you want to help your cousin. Like I have friends. I have replaced many heat exchanger for landlords, for friends who have a low income. But again, it's not fun. There's a lot of work. But at the end, you're gonna get the heat exchanger for free. Last heat exchanger I changed, believe it or not, from Carrier, the heat exchanger by itself, I showed it to the customer, was almost $3,700, but it was free. When you put a heat exchanger, basically you have a new furnace. You have a new furnace. Everything else is replaceable. But again, I'm not trying to bash other technicians. I understand why they don't want to do it. And on the other hand, like if they replace for you the furnace and the AC for $8,000, $12,000, they make good money. They're not gonna come spend the whole day. When I did one for my cousin, I was like, I made like $500. It took me the whole day, but again, I was helping my friend. So just so you know, if you're handy enough and you know what I'm doing, you see what I'm doing, you can do it yourself. The only problem, I think, the distributor is not gonna give stuff like this to public to the public. It has to be through contractor. That's why if you have a friend and you know someone, tell him, hey, I have a low income. But again, if you are honestly able to and you're financially stable, you can just change the system. That's what you need to know. So basically, the heat exchanger, as you see, these screws are only holding it. There are not too many things. But I will remove the condensation panel collector first. I will show you how the thing work. So basically, this furnace is fairly new. I don't know why they are replacing it. Honestly, it's a shame. It's a shame that they have to replace. Basically, this furnace, I don't have enough time to go through it, but it has a problem with the blower. So it's either the blower was bad or the heat exchanger. So this is, you see, that's the other thing that I want to tell you about why a lot of technicians, they don't want to go through this. Because putting heat exchanger, it has to be perfectly done. If any place is leaking, there's carbon monoxide leaks, they can be in big trouble. That's why a lot of people say, you know what, we're gonna just we give you an estimate for a brand new one. I'm sorry, we're not gonna replace your heat exchanger because of the liability. So for example, this one here, you have to glue it really, really good, otherwise it's gonna leak, and then God forbid, they're gonna come after you, right? The technician, if God forbid. So that's one of the reasons. Other than that, honestly, I think in my case, I have helped a lot of people. Honestly, I'm gonna break it. I don't care. This one is scrapped. I'm gonna scrap it. So, but usually this is part of the heat exchanger. So it comes off. See, it has to be sealed. Oh my God! Shame on me. I forgot one of these screws. That's why. That's why it was so hard. So anyway, this is the pan collector. See this piece. See, they have to seal it really good. Sometimes the whole heat exchanger can come perfectly put together if you're lucky, but most cases gonna be only the 80%ers. Usually the heat exchangers, one piece is very easy. This is one of the downside of the high efficiency because the heat exchanger is bigger, has more parts, and it's hard to find the whole thing. So now we're gonna go into removing the whole heat exchanger. So as you see, the inducer motor will suck the heat through these paths, and the fire is going to go in here. Remember the in-shot fires? And it's going to be sucked immediately into a tubular heat exchanger. That's how the flame will travel so many elbows or turns, and then it will go into a very fine heat exchanger. Actually, let me show you this since I already see it. See the downsides of the high efficiency furnace. It has a regular heat exchanger, and then it has an auxiliary or secondary heat exchanger, which is the flame goes into very fine paths, and then that thing is very fine. So if you don't change the filter, I show you what's going to happen inside your heat exchanger. So here, as you see in here, I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if you can see it. Sorry. See here. See how fine this is? So if you don't change your filter, all the dirt is going to be sucked in here. So this is one of the downsides of the high efficiency furnace. This is one of the downsides. So regular 80%, the heat exchange is open wide. And this was my camera. Again, I'm a new YouTuber. I appreciate you putting up with me with my English, with my unorganized work. So anyway, after I remove the heat exchanger, I will show you what I mean. But if technicians or homeowners, if you go to a job and the limit switches keep tripping and the furnace is overheating, it's either the heat exchanger here is dirty. Unfortunately, you have to remove the blower. Usually I used to go lay down and my head is facing it. I put a mask, okay, and I put a glasses because dirt's gonna go in your eyes. It's a dirty job. And then I get a brush. I have the brush and I don't have it here. And I clean it. Sometimes it's easy, just like a dust. You see a layer. Sometimes you put your hand, you can peel it like you're peeling like you're peeling a small carpet from the place. Sometimes you have to. It depends. If it's in the kitchen, they're cooking all the time. It's oil. It's gonna be a little bit difficult. Okay, so I showed you this. After I remove this, remember where it's gonna see this. You're gonna see it after I remove this. Okay, so the heat exchanger is ready. Basically, these are the screws that are holding it. And this one is not big, so I can carry the whole thing. Now remember, when you put a new one, there's like a. Let me lower this a little bit. So sometimes it can be mounted. Actually, this is not mounted from the side, so it's just loose. We can just grab it and get it out. So as you see, it's ready to go. I don't know if you can see the lips. There are lips in here. When you put the new one back, make sure these go inside. Don't damage them. Okay. So basically, the heat exchanger is ready to go. Maybe it's held by something else. Let me see. Maybe these are holding it. Yeah, there's something holding it. We don't know what it is. Oh, actually, this one. Oh no. Wow. So basically, this should be ready to go. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else holding it. I'm gonna go push it out from here. Yeah, it's a baby heat exchanger. It's small. Oh, actually, I see. Actually, what they did, they glued it, I think. It's a glued. Oh, I see. This one is tricky one, okay? There are two screws in the back. See, not all of them has this, honestly. So, there are two screws in the back. If you watch my other videos, we didn't have that. So, other ones, if you watch the other videos, the thing was just hanging here. So now it comes off. See, it's all off and ready to go. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you how to. Again, I'm scrapping this. Don't lose any screws. You're gonna put back the new one if you're doing the heat exchanger. So this is ready to go. Watch, it's not heavy. Sometimes you have to move a couple screws. Don't go crazy. Just take a couple of them because the whole thing can collapse. I don't know what happened to my. Okay. Yeah, good. So these are gonna give me some space to move around. Okay, so this is ready. So I'm gonna show you what I was talking about earlier. See, like this heat exchanger, as you see, you can see it, yeah. So like this heat exchanger, basically, all these panels. Again, I didn't deal with Lennox a lot. I did deal with Carrier, but I believe all these pieces. Same would happen with. Again, I'm scrapping this. Don't do that, okay? Same would happen with the Carrier. See the panels. All these come separate. Sometimes they don't have all of them. They come like in so many boxes. And these chambers, they come separate. You have to build them yourself. You have to put them together yourself. I think this one comes one piece because it's kind of welded. So as you see, this is the fire. Goes from here, and then goes into mixing area where it's the in and out mix. The in and out is going everywhere. Then it happened that exchange, and then we sucked again into the fine heat exchanger. And that's how you have a high efficiency, because the system is sucking every degree possible of the flame. So instead of having 80% of your bill to heat your house and 20% going to chimney, you're gonna have 95% of your bill going to your house, and then 5% going into the chimney. Now again, forgive me guys, I might sound crazy. I don't recommend high efficiency furnaces. Honestly, they break so much, and you need a lot of maintenance, a lot of extra, more moving stuff, more wear and tear. Because again, remember, when that fire is coming in here, it's still dry. As soon as it goes into the high efficiency, the auxiliary or secondary heat exchanger, it will start becoming kind of vapor. It starts sweating. So there's a lot of sweating. And you remember earlier there was a condensation trap, and because that condensation have to go somewhere, and usually it goes into the trap and it goes into your sump pump or condensate pump or into the drain. But the idea is, I mean, you save some gas. I would say minimum 5 to maximum 20% of your bill, depending on how much you use it, how big is the house, the insulation, the windows, where you live. So like for if you're in Texas or Florida, I don't really recommend high efficiency furnace. You don't need it. We have a very short winter. Just get a 80%. Believe me, they live forever. They don't break because they are dry, less moving parts, and no condensate. and condensation. They're cheaper. So if you want to put a high efficiency furnace, I would say you're going to pay minimum $1,000 or maximum $3,000 extra because you're doing high efficiency furnace. If you want to, you do 80%, you're going to save at least $1,000 automatically. At least, I mean, if maybe 2,000 automatically. So imagine the money you save, like that money, it takes maybe a year to start thinking about, oh, I'm paying 5% more than my neighbor, or I'm paying 10. The same thing with the high efficiency. You pay 2,000, 3,000 more, and how much you're saving? Let's say you're saving 20% of your bill, and you are in Florida, right? Or so it's nothing. I mean, if your bill is $80 a month, you're saving whatever, $10, $12. So every year you're saving, and then you have a one extra service call or one extra repair, you're gonna spend all this money. That's my opinion, honestly. But if you have to go with high efficiency, go with a standard high. Don't go with the cutting edge now, because they have now 98%, maybe 99%. I don't know. I'm not following the technology now. But if you have a 98%, you know how many control boards are in 98%? And a lot of technicians, they will never know how to fix this thing. I took classes, I took seminars, and they are a nightmare. You know, you need so many. So anyway, if you want to put a 98%, usually it's crazy expensive. Like if regular furnace costs you like maximum 3,000 to be replaced, like 80%, for the 98, you're gonna be paying 9, 10,000, maybe 8, 10,000 just for the furnace. So you pay a lot of money to save 5, 10%, and if you think about the saving, you need to use that furnace for 20 years to make up for the money you're saving on installation. It's not worth it. Anyway, it's a long story. So I hope it makes sense. So this is the auxiliary heat exchanger. Now again, if you remove the blower, you're gonna see this here. Okay, I showed you earlier. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So basically, this is not bad for 10 years old. Usually, I used to remove the blower and put the brush and brush it like this. I don't want to make dust, but you see it's dirty. And believe it or not, I have situation where for my cousins, I took this all out and I washed it. I took it all out and I washed it. It was brand new and shiny. You know, I was new in the business. I was excited. You know, I know everything. So I used to do extra stuff. I don't do it anymore. So if you take this out, of course, you have to know how to put it back. You get some foaming chemical you put on it. It's going to be shiny again. But I'm just telling you, this it's not too bad. And then if you don't, looks like somebody didn't change the filter. This dirt on it is gonna restrict the air. It's the smell. That's why when you turn the furnace first time in the winter, you smell that funny smell. It comes from here because there's a lot of dirt in here. Okay, and then let me show you here the chambers. So basically, every one of these is anywhere between 20 to 25,000 BTU. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think this one is smaller. Sometimes if the chambers are small, it could be 15,000. Because this furnace, I think it's a 70,000 BTU. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So maybe these chambers are small. Okay, so let me show you more details about this. What I'm trying to say about the see this one here. If you see other videos, if you see the other videos that I did earlier for other heat exchanger, for other models, there was a mark in here that indicate the furnace was pushing a lot of gas and it was burning like crazy. And no matter how much air you have coming, it wasn't able to remove the heat perfectly, so it will make mark. Actually, I have the one last time I worked on. I wish I can show it to you. It's in there. But anyway, in the other video you can see it. So that means this furnace was not really sending a lot of fire. See, there's no marks. So maybe it was cool, which is really good. Other ones, let me show you how these are engaged together, and this is the mixing area. That's what I'm telling you. A lot of time I had to go get it, and they don't, like, for example, you got the heat exchanger, they're missing the panel. Oh, okay. So we have to wait for the panel. Again, these suppliers, they don't stock a lot of heat exchanger because they think 99% of technicians are just replacing the system. You know, they're not gonna, so they don't have a big space to store all kind of. So this is the mixing area. See how you have to seal it. This is the mixing area, and I was telling you earlier, because of the condensation, you're gonna see a lot of rust. See, this is what happened with the high efficiency furnace. You can see it, I guess. See how when the fire comes in here, and as I was telling you earlier, remember the PVC intake, I don't recommend taking it out of from outside, because all this freezing air, when it's like 20 below, it will travel and cause moisture also. And you see how we do the rust here? So there's a lot to it. High efficiency is very complicated. So luckily this was start building. If this was not replaced that early, these are basically it helped the flame to slow down a little bit. It make it slow down and go on. So in this case, it will help to suck all the heat from the system. So this, if it was not replaced, you're gonna have start building a lot of stuff in here, a lot of residue. Okay, so this is how it is, and that's all for the. But really, this is the cleanest heat exchanger I have ever seen so far. Since I started doing YouTube. Okay, so putting it back is the same thing. Now, don't throw this. I mean, if you have a new one, you need these. Don't throw them away. So let me show you how to put it back. Basically, it's easy, right? Same thing. There are lips in here. I don't know if you can see these lips. They should go into here, right? So they are like opening in here. So when these are in, that means you're perfectly in the right spot. So basically, you get it from here, and from here you slide it in. Okay, and then you have to make sure these lips are in the place. And I have to go back a little bit. I think these lips are bothering me. So okay, here we go. So the lips are in the place. See, like that. And then when you go in, just hit it with the hammer a little bit because they were bented. And then you put the screws back. Of course, you're gonna have all the other stuff that you save them. Of course, don't throw them away like me because I'm scrapping this. But you're gonna put everything back in the place perfectly. Don't lose the screws. And imagine that's a new heat exchanger. Okay. Thanks for your time. And then if you want to add anything, I'm really willing to learn from you guys. If you have any other ideas or any comment. And again, I'm not a genius in this business. I'm doing this for 26 years, but I'm an old-fashioned technician. I use just basic stuff. Of course, there are a lot of sophisticated formulas and tools. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks.